Hello and welcome to episode 52 of TB3 Sports Talk. I'm Colby. I'm here with Stinger, and I'm also here with Joel, and we are ready to do something that I don't think we thought we would do, and that's talk good about Rays baseball, man. As soon
Rays
as
are back,
they might be back as
And
soon
so
as
is Will.
Will, you're here. I thought they got kidnapped.
Yeah, it's my alter ego. I
Oh.
feel like when I put this on, I get superpowers. I'm gonna fight crime in this. I promise you that.
Chills thinking about it. But yeah, Rays baseball, just when you're ready to give up on them, they just pull you back in and they get right back to 500 because that's what they do. But we have to talk good about some Rays baseball because this weekend, the Rays, they hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks in Tropicana Field for 3 games. They were coming off a sweep against the Astros at home. They were on 1-5 on their homestand, looking to salvage a homestand with maybe a series win at home before they go on the road, which we will talk about later. And they did a little bit more than just that. On Friday night, we had a doozy of a baseball game. We had a TB3 correspondent here, Stinger, or a.k.a. Will, was at the game. And we also had Ryan Nelson for the Diamondbacks pitching against Ryan Pepio making his return. He swung down from the B ring. He is Spider-Man. But in all seriousness, good to see Pepio back. And this was a crazy game as in the first inning, the Diamondbacks got 2 unearned runs off a junior error. And they went up 2-0 in the first inning. And it looked like the Rays, this game might finish as a 2-0 game. The Rays offense looked feeble, but a jolt of energy in the top of the fifth bottom of the fifth as Dylan Carlson hit his 3rd home run as a Ray, 2-1 Diamondbacks. And then bottom of the 8th, it started to get crazy as Josh Lowe got a 2 RBI single to put the Rays up 3-2, and then Dylan Carlson again would put the Rays up 4-2, headed into the 9th. Pistol Pete Fairbanks coming in to lock this game down, but Pistol Pete Fairbanks, more like water gun Fairbanks, as he would give up a 2-run home run to Corbin Carroll on a hanging changeup. It was not a good changeup. It was a bad one, and the Diamondbacks tied this game up 4-4, but in the bottom of the 9th, some base-running heroics by Johnny DeLuca and Brandon Lau doing what he does, hitting the ball, and the Rays would get a walk-off win, 5-4, headed into Saturday. Faith Day at Tropicana Field. And if you are trying to tell me that God isn't real, I mean, look at what the Rays since Faith Day. In all seriousness, love to see the Rays put on this event every single year to celebrate the Christian faith. We obviously are in the most support of this event that the Rays do. Not in as many support of the other stuff, but Faith Day, we can get 1,000,000% behind. And the Rays put on a show for Faith Day. In the first inning, Josh Lowe would get an RBI triple to put the Rays up 1-0, and then a little bit of running action as Josh Lowe would steal home on a Junior Caminero steal, and they threw through, and then Josh Lowe went home. 2-0 Rays. And then bottom of the second inning, Yandy Diaz would get a 2 RBI single. The Rays bats are hitting. 4-0 Rays. Yandy Diaz comes through, and then top 5, the Diamondbacks would get a run back to make it 4-1, but then that beautiful, beautiful man again, bald Brandon Lau, a 2-run home run. The Rays are up 6-1, and that will be your final score. Great pitching, great offense, pizza time at Papa John's, Rays win. And then we're looking for a sweep, and not only a sweep, the first sweep since May, and only the second sweep of the whole entire year. Could the Rays pull it off? It wouldn't be easy. As in the bottom of the 3rd, Brandon Lau, that man again, bald Brandon, a 2-run home run. He's just so sexy. 2-0 Rays. And then bottom of the 5th, Jose Caballero with a 2 RBI double to put the Rays up 4-0. And the Rays just kept on hitting as Junior Caminero would get an RBI single to put the Rays up 5-0. And then a wild pitch in the bottom of the 6th would put the Rays up 6-0. Wow, we're going to have a nice, easy path to a sweep. Nope, not with this team. The Diamondbacks would get 1 run in the top of the 7th. They would get 2 more runs in the top of the 8th. And then in the top of the 9th, the big blow off water gun Fairbanks. Once again, a 3-run home run by new catcher Del Castillo of the Diamondbacks. It's 6-6. We're going to extras. And then the top of the 10th, with 2 outs, Jock Peterson would roll a ball just through the middle of the infield to make it 7-6 Diamondbacks. But wait, the hero that we didn't know we needed but showed up when we needed him the most. Taylor Walls. We get an RBI single, bottom of the 10th inning, 7-7, and then after some good bullpen pitching in the bottom of the 12th, the Rays finally shut the door. Dylan Carlson got a walk-off hit, and the Rays would sweep the Diamondbacks.
What a series. I think this, it's been very doom and gloom here at TB3 in the past couple weeks because the Rays have not only underperformed, that's to put it lightly. It has just been downright devastating. We felt like, we've told you 100 times that they still had a chance to just keep believing. And going into this weekend, I really didn't think any of us had a lot of belief left. I think we look at this weekend as almost like the Rays' last stand. Could they finally do something? Could they finally get a string of wins together against probably a playoff team, the hottest team in baseball? And they did exactly that. They're keeping the dream alive. And I think if they can just build off of this, they really do have a chance. They really do have a chance.
If nothing else, they're going to play some good spoiler down the stretch if they play this kind of baseball.
I want to do a little bit more than spoiling, but you're right. At the end of the day, I don't know what this last month and a half of baseball is going to lead to for the Rays, but I do know that going into 2025, I still have high hopes for that team. You want to go into that season playing well. I think of kind of 2018. That was a team that probably in the new playoff format would have made the playoffs, but they missed it. They got 90 wins, but then that year coming into 2019, the Rays, they knew what they needed to do. They started off the season hot, and they started their 5-year playoff streak. So at the end of the day, you really want the Rays to go into next year, playing good baseball. But like Will said, the dream is not dead. The Rays still have a really good chance they don't have a really good chance. They still have a chance. Sorry, correct me. The Rays have a chance to, get into this thing.
They could just sneak in.
They just could sneak in. And we've seen 2 6 seeds in the past 2 years make it to the World Series out of the NL. So anything can happen once you're in. I think obviously we can look into it, but there's a few teams that in the way of the Rays, but they're gonna have to start playing these tough teams too, just like the Rays have been playing. It seems like for the past 3 months. But I think as we look into these games, I think we kind of have to start with the new guy. With Dylan Carlson. I think his injection into this lineup has been refreshing. And I think Will has some stats for you on Dylan Carlson.
Yeah, we look at Dylan Carlson, kind of a question mark when the Rays traded Sean Armstrong for him, a little 1-for-1 trade, as you will, with the Cardinals. He was very promising back in the day in their what's the word I'm looking for? Prospect list. He's very prominent their farm system. Yeah, but a couple injuries kind of kept him off the path of becoming a solid everyday outfielder that the Cardinals were looking for. And you just look at with his time with the Cardinals this season, 59 games, only 24 hits, no home runs, 11 RBIs, 198 average, compared to Tampa Bay, 14 games, 12 hits, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, and a 293 average. That is huge. It makes you feel good when the Rays are able to do something right. I feel like we've made a lot of trades, maybe had a lot of prospects come up, and some of them haven't lived up to the expectations we've been looking for. But this guy is phenomenal. And you look at what he was able to do Sunday. You look at Friday, he hits a huge home run that kind of rejuvenated the Rays. That was a very boring game up until the 5th inning. So it's good to see at least a fraction of this huge trade deadline the Rays had pay off.
Yeah, the thing that sticks out to me the most is his numbers are great. 920 OPS as a Ray this year. And he had 0 home runs coming into his time as a Ray. And he's already had 3 in 14 games. That is something that it's just so Rays. And I think at this point, it's benefited the Rays, the reputation that they've built to kind of revive players or get the best out of players. And it doesn't always come true. And I think as Rays fans, we're able to see that, the Rays do have misses. They do have things that frustrate you. They're not always perfect, but they're right a lot more times than they're wrong, and that is something that Dylan Carlson has proven. And I also think kind of the reputation that the Rays have built kind of just gives players that extra boost of confidence when they're coming over. Like, I think there was even interviews talking about Dylan Carlson talking about kind of the opportunity the Rays would have, his excitement to be in this organization where he felt like he could really get the opportunity, the backing, and the skills to really fulfill his potential that I think a lot of people had. I mean, he was a top 10 prospect in all of baseball. I mean, this guy has the tools. He just hasn't had the situation or the health. So to see him succeed has been huge. He's bolstering the middle of our lineup. He's driving in runs. He's hitting for extra base power. He's doing all this stuff, and it's really good to see. I've really loved to watch him hit.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known this unless I looked at it, but 5 for 11 in that Diamondback series, wow. That's,
I mean, yeah, you can easily attribute some of their wins this weekend to him.
For sure. 3 RBIs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
only
again,
one strikeout. This is my president.
And the walk-off on Sunday, man. So.
Yeah, that was a huge hit too. I mean, that game felt like it was never going to end. Just a lot of sloppy baseball, some great plays, some bad ones. That was a crazy game. I mean, Sunday was that was a fever dream of a game. Just a lot of crazy, blowing the 6-0 lead. It kind of just feels like, same old Rays, can't sweep, going to go back below 500. We're going to live this life. And maybe that's the case. Maybe the Rays got lucky. Or maybe this is a turning point game. They finally are able to finish off a series with a sweep.
They found a way to win.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you guys think? Was Sunday more of a good luck, this is kind of the same old, the Rays won an ugly game? Or could this be a turning point game for this 2024 Rays team?
I wouldn't say it was luck, but it felt like a game we could have again. That was a classic Rays kind of game. Bullpen keeps the door closed and the offense finds a way at some point.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I was pretty upset. I feel like that's a first win in a long time for the Rays where I have it took me a while to actually be happy about it. I was really upset how he blew it. A huge injury, which we'll get to. I don't know if you mentioned it already, but kind of a huge injury, and then some just goofy mistakes in extras, and they're able to pull it off though. And I think at the end of the day, that's the most important part: is can you find a way to win? And they did that. And I said it at the beginning of the show is that I felt like this was a last stand. They needed to prove something. So I think this definitely will boost the Rays. I really do. I think this is just what they needed. I mean, again, this was the hottest team in baseball. And this has been a couple times this season where the quote-unquote hottest team has come in to Tampa or the Rays have gone to them, and they've been able to win a series. And you just think there's this team still has a chance. They have what it takes to win big games. They just have to be consistent. It's really come down to consistency, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the Rays have racked up a lot of really, really impressive series wins against playoff-level teams. I mean, Yankees in the last 2 months, Guardians, Royals. Those are just some Astros on the road. Twins. Now you think about Diamondbacks, a lot of really good teams that you've won on the road and at home. And these are good series wins against good teams. And like Will said, they have all the tools to win tight games, win playoff-type games, but they have a tendency to lay eggs. When it's going bad, it goes horrible for this Rays team. So while this is an encouraging sweep for the Rays, this is still a last stand. The Rays cannot have any more hiccups if they want to have their playoff chances to be fulfilled. There's no more rooms for. I don't think they can get swept for the rest of the year. I just don't think there's not. It can't happen. I don't think there's many series you can lose at this point.
You have to win it. You basically have to win out. Not win every game, but you have to win just about every series.
Not every, but you got to win the majority. You got to win 8 out of 10 series.
I'd say you just have to win because there's still teams that have a huge lead. You got to hope some of these teams lose, so it's better to just try to win these series instead of hoping.
Oh, for sure.
Playing the praying and hoping game.
Absolutely. But yeah, there's no more hiccups that are left for this team. you gotta. What was I about to say? I don't know.
We're currently the 6th best team in the American League, and we are 6.5 games out from the 3rd wild card. So.
Well, the 6th team in the wild card. There's a couple division winners. We're the 9th best team, because top 7 make it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So right now we're 6.5 out of the wild card.
Yes.
The
Which
Royals
is
currently hold the last wild card with 69 wins.
And the Royals' schedule gets tough in the next couple weeks. They have the Angels next, but then they have a stretch of 10 games versus the Phillies, Guardians, and oh my gosh, what's the other team? Astros. Phillies, Guardians, Astros in a 10-game stretch. Those are a lot of losable games. Rays have to be able to capitalize.
Well,
going on the what?
I hate to jump ahead too, but you look ahead. The Rays play the Mariners, which they are directly above them. So those are some must-win games for the Rays. And then I want to say we play Boston twice. Yeah.
I think 6 or 7 games against Boston.
Yeah, that's another team that's directly in front of you.
Yeah.
You got to come away with those wins. Those, out of any of the games remaining, those two teams are the most important games.
Absolutely.
You have to win those.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have 3 more against Baltimore as well.
Yeah, you got all these games are important.
Let's beat them, please.
Yeah, seriously.
We're like 2-8 this year.
Our schedule is daunting.
Our schedule is tough, but we have a lot of those teams that we need to pass on our schedule, which makes it tough, but it also makes it an opportunity. So you can look at it both ways. And also, I do feel like the Rays kind of do better against better teams.
They play up to their competition.
They play up to their competition for sure.
Unless it's in Texas. Then sometimes they don't.
And we beat Houston in Texas.
Yeah, I'm talking about the other.
Yeah, the other team. Hate them. But at that point, we're playing down because they're having a struggle season. But looking back this weekend, the starting pitching was pretty darn good. Friday, Ryan Pepio made his return. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. He did give up 2 in his time because of an error. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 5 hits. So he looks sharp. Really love to see anything stick out to you guys about Ryan Pep.
Yeah, just really happy to see no sloppiness, no kind of like a hangover, I guess. I mean, he's been out a long time. You think of it.
It's been a month or so, I think.
Yeah, it's been about a month, and this was, again, a spider bite that took him out this long. So, it was pretty serious. And just the fact that he's able to go back in, bunch of strikeouts, very quality innings. I'm glad there's really no hangover. So I was really happy about that.
I loved his command, man. I mean, his fastball and his changeup were right in the places. And he did have the 5 strikeouts, but his command was so good. He was pitching a soft contact. He was throwing quality strikes early, and that allowed him. I mean, he got through 5 1/3 innings pitched on 80 pitches. So he might have been on a pitch count. On a pitch count. But, I mean, that's really efficient. I think maybe if this wasn't his first start back, he would have gone longer. So, really impressed with Ryan Pepio and what he did. And then on Saturday, unless we have anything on Pepio, Joel?
I mean, just giving up 1 walk, as you were saying, that's very good for your first start back.
Yeah, and when he gets into trouble, that is what happens with Ryan Pepio. Then Saturday, looking at the starting pitching, Jeffrey Springs with another doozy of a start. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, only 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts in 76 pitches. He's still not built all the way up. You could see some fatigue as he got in that later inning. That his last inning was definitely his worst inning, but he was cruising through those first 4, and his stuff looked really, really good, man.
Yeah, and he picks up his first win in 16 months, so you're happy to see that. But I'd say that's 2 back-to-back starts from him where he's starting to look like his old self, which, again, I'm saying don't worry, guys. And, I mean, if we could put a run together, it would be so great to see him pitch in the postseason.
Oh, yeah.
But at least for now, I cannot wait. Cy Young. He's a Cy Young next year. And you can take that to the bank.
He's really, really good. 7 strikeouts. His changeup was disgusting. And he doesn't throw with the most velo. I mean, if you guys haven't watched Jeffrey Springs pitch, I mean, his fastball is 89 to 91 miles per hour, 92 tops. But just his location and the movement on his changeup makes that fastball so much more deadly. Loved it. I mean, just exquisite stuff from Jeffrey Springs.
Another guy, only 1 walk over those 7 innings.
That's Rays baseball.
Sorry, that was 5 innings.
Yeah, that's Rays baseball, man. I mean, the fact that your pitchers are striking out a lot of hitters and not walking them, that's Rays baseball. That's what Kyle Snyder lives for. That is his thing. And then
I think one more thing too. I think because I want to say he got into a bases loaded situation in the 5th.
Yes.
And they're able to get out of that too. That's pretty big. Especially too, you're coming off. You're still getting back to it. You get into some trouble. You're able to get out of it. I think that really put the cherry on top for a very strong start.
Yeah, and as you look for, the guy on Sunday who pitched the majority of the innings, 5 2/3, Tyler Alexander, our hero on TB3 Sports Talk, has had an amazing stretch as his second stint in the majors started on July 23rd of this year. And since then, he has thrown 20 innings pitched, only has a 2.25 ERA in those 20 innings. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on now. 20 strikeouts in that time, too. He has been an unsung – if the Rays make the playoffs this year, Tyler Alexander
I want him to open.
Yeah, he is an unsung hero of what these 2024 Rays do. I mean, he has been so good, so good since he came back up his second time.
Yeah, and I just love the intensity he plays with. You know, a lot of guys might be emotionless on the mound, just kind of like machines. But, I mean, dude, this guy's getting so into it. You can tell he just cares. I love him. I love him to death. Can't go without saying, too, Drew Rasmussen, who opened the game, looks absolutely phenomenal as kind of a bullpen opener type guy. And that is a nasty 1-2 punch combo right there.
Love it.
Rasmussen to Tyler Alexander. Like I'm saying, I mean, if they could get into a wild card game, oh my, I think you gotta let them lead it off because.
Ooh. But what about Mr. Springs, man?
Mr. Springs can go game 2.
Or if Taj Bradley's pitching like he's pitching, that's your game 1. Man.
He's got to turn around a little bit.
He's got to turn around for sure.
I need to see. Right now, I'm not convinced with him. Thankfully, we don't have Zach Eflin to ruin any postseason games for us if we make it. He can ruin it for Baltimore. Wouldn't that be funny? The Yankees win that division. Orioles are going to be the number 1 wild card. We get revenge on Zach Eflin in the playoffs.
That would be really funny.
You can only write that in movies, guys. I mean, that would be absolute cinema.
That would be the Super Bowl for Rays fans this year. Pitching, anything else?
I mean, to go no for 6 innings, like it's always like, could it be? Could it be?
But you have to admit what you did, man.
Somebody's got to say it.
No.
When you get to the 7th inning, you got to start looking. You got to start paying a little bit of attention. Dwayne Stats even he hinted at it early on in the game.
But he hinted at it. He didn't say it.
He hinted at it around the 6th inning. That's when you start to pick up as a fan. It's like, all right, buckle up, kids. We're going on a roller coaster.
Hinted at it.
Fortunately, it ended in the 7th inning.
Mm-hmm. And that's when he hinted at, but when you said it, you said no hitter watch or no hitter. Like,
it was like the next batter after that,
and then it was that heartbreaking bloop single.
Was it 2 outs or 0 outs?
It was like there was no outs. That was like the first batter.
Yeah, it looks like it was the first batter.
And it was just a stupid little bloop.
That's always how they got to end, though. It's either that or a little squeaker through the infield.
That's true. But then if you make that play, then it's like it's no hitter time.
Yeah.
Once the good defensive play happens, you got to start to believe. Mm-hmm. Before we get into hitting, I just want to shout out, maybe my favorite Rays player of all time, perhaps Edwin Uceda. In the 2024 regular season, he has thrown 18 games, 28 2/3 innings pitched, a 0.94 ERA. And to go along with that, he has 35 strikeouts on the season and 28 2/3 innings and a 0.59 whip. I guess we could say it right now. Will can break the news of a big injury also in the bullpen.
Yeah, so we're talking about the good, which is Uceda, and then the bad, Pete Fairbanks goes down. After blowing his second save opportunity in one weekend, giving up a huge home run to tie the game in the bottom of the 9th, Pete Fairbanks is headed to the IL with some sort of
lat strain.
Yeah, some strain. So I think you said it best. who's controlling the AC. We really got to find out who's controlling the AC and the
Got to
Trop.
bump it up to 75.
Might have been
Yeah.
a Diamondbacks fan. He turned it a little too down, got cold, and it hurt Pete. But disappointing, man, because at least, it's not that injury is good, but maybe that was the cause of it, because just disappointing to see somebody that we've had a kind of up and down year to start the year, and then we get to this weekend.
Second IL stint too, right?
Yeah, and then after he went down and came back, he's been very solid. I mean, I think out of the entirety since he's been back, he's missed only two save opportunities. The rest he's been perfect. It was like 22 for 24. And then we get to this weekend, he blew 2 of them. So maybe it was injury that was the cause of this. Hopefully he gets better, gets back soon. It's just a quick thing, but it was sad to see because Friday did the same thing. Thankfully, Brandon Lau saved us, and Dylan Carlson saved us eventually. But, yeah, I mean,
all this to say is make Edwin Uceda the closer, and I'm going to be happy.
Or
Kevin
Kevin Kelly.
Ooh, Kevin Kelly's been looking good.
Kelly's been looking
He's
good.
been looking good.
Richard Lovelady,
No.
really solid
All
on
right.
Saturday. I'm
Not-
not saying
not my closer.
I'm not saying he's a closer.
No.
I'm just saying he looks solid.
Yeah. And
Saturday.
Manny Rodriguez also has a case for that too. He's been really good. Ray's bullpen is going to be able to suffer and be okay during this injury. I would love to see Pete back, but I think the Rays bullpen
Can we
will
bring
be okay.
back Biggie?
Oh,
call him up?
yes,
They did not
bring
call him up.
back.
They
Who did they-
Kunal.
Come on,
He's
bring
pretty
back
good, but yeah,
Biggie.
I think
What are
Biggie.
we
They're
doing?
creating Biggie to become a monster right now in AAA. They're
Maybe.
they
but,
are
I mean,
are.
he was nasty.
He was nasty for sure, but he had some command issues.
I guess we can go to hitting.
Hitting, baby. So, what law firm do you call when you need a big hit from the left side of the plate? You call Lowe and Lau, a great law firm, and their little assistant, Nate Lowe. But I want to start with the one that pronounces his last name Lowe. Josh Lowe has had a documented up and down season this year for the Rays. He hasn't been fully healthy. He hasn't been able to get in a rhythm. But quietly since the All-Star break, which is 20-plus games now, he is hitting .297 with an .828 OPS. And I just think when you look at Josh Lowe, his impact to this offense is so huge. I think giving that he's the other run producer, man. Yandy Diaz gets on base. Brandon Lau for a while was the only single person who could get people in. But now you look over the weekend, Josh Lowe is driving people in, triples, singles, all that stuff. And I just think Josh Lowe is a huge component of this offense, and the reason why the Rays offense scored 5+ runs every single day in this series against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, he clearly is the factor right now, and it's somebody we've said since the beginning we've needed him to step up. I know he had some injuries earlier in the year, but when he came back, it wasn't the same Josh Lowe we were seeing last year. Now we're starting to see some changes. We're starting to see him get back to his old self. I think we flashback to that Miami series. He said he made some mechanical changes, and so far it's been turning out phenomenal. So keep it up, Josh Lowe. We really need him to step it up if we want to see the postseason in 2024.
His batting average in the month of July was as low as 206. Right now he's got it back up to 240, and he was 4 for 12 just in the Diamondback series.
Love it. And then,
that's nice.
And then, guys, I have some trivia for you. It's Bald Brandon Trivia Night. So it's well documented how good Brandon Lau has been this season, 850+ OPS overall. But right now I want to look into some splits. So the Rays are not huge fans of letting lefties hit against other left-handed pitchers, but Brandon Lau, maybe due to the fact that the Rays don't have many better options and the fact that he's been amazing this year, has had a pretty good sample size against lefties. So when you look at Brandon Lau's left-handed stats, I'm just so excited to say this because it's so good. He is hitting .320 against left-handed pitchers, .370 on base percentage, a .970 OPS against left-handed hitters. And I'll ask you this. Brandon Lau is 4th amongst lefties in OPS against left-handed pitchers. Who are the 3 people ahead of him?
This season?
This season.
I feel like Ohtani would be just the easy one to pick up among the guys.
Wrong.
No Ohtani? Okay.
Nope. He has a better OPS against lefties than Shohei Ohtani.
Wow. Aaron Judge.
No, a left-handed hitter, dude. No ball. He doesn't know ball.
No, I thought you said against left-handed pitchers.
No. Well,
It's left-handed
it's
batters
left-handed batters against left-handed pitchers. Yes. Looking for 3 names, guys.
I gotta admit, I lucked out on the effect that Ohtani's the left-handed swing.
I'll start eliminating people. Bryce Harper is not ahead of him. Brandon Lau is better against lefties than Bryce Harper this year. Stephen Kwan having a career year. Brandon Lau is better than him against lefties. Christian Yelich, kind of back to his MVP form.
Dude, he's like hurt. Isn't
He is hurt, but I mean, this year he's having a great year. It was like a 900 OPS overall. Not better against lefties. I'll give you 2 hints. There's again the 2 of them are on teams. Honestly, you guys probably hate all the teams this guy's on.
So it's AL East for sure.
One's an AL East. One's an NL East.
He's cheating over here.
I mean, I gotta do
One's an
research.
AL.
You guys know- you guys
One's an
gotta
AL
know-
West.
AL West.
I ain't cheating. I'm doing
So
research.
is Altuve left-handed?
No, you're warm though.
Jordan?
Jordan. That's
Okay,
one.
Jordan. AL East.
AL East,
Is
come
it
on,
a
think-
team that's orange?
Think of a big left-handed hitter in the AL East. Come on.
Orange team?
Nope.
Evil team.
Yep.
Juan Soto.
Yep. There's
Okay,
one.
I was trying to confirm if Juan Soto hit left-handed or right-handed.
Wow. These guys don't watch other baseball
okay.
players. All right, and then
I hate
this
the
is an
AL
NL.
East.
NL.
NL. Give me
NL East.
division.
NL East.
NL East.
This one's probably the most surprising, but he hits bombs.
He's not on the Braves.
No,
Is it Castellanos?
he's a righty. You're warm though. You're warm.
Oh man, but
Not
he's on the
Bryce-
Phillies.
Not Bryce Harper. They got
It's
another
not
big
Bryce.
lefty.
A big lefty.
Postseason hero back in the day. Not for the Phillies though.
Not for the Phillies.
Little
But he's on
boun-
the Phillies.
Yeah. Bad defensive player. Outfielder. Mostly
Why
plays
can't I
DH.
think of their outfielders all of a sudden? Mostly plays DH.
Hit a home run off Yu Darvish in the World Baseball Classic.
Oh, Trey Turner.
Nope.
No.
He's a righty.
Oh, he's not even an outfielder either.
Kyle Schwarber.
Oh.
Come on now. But
Kyle Schwarber is on that list?
yeah,
Wow.
he hits bombs. He's really good. But yeah, Brandon Lau has been exceptional against lefties. He also has the highest slugging percentage out of anyone in baseball off lefties as a left-handed hitter. So just want to shout out Brandon Lau. He is not a splits guy. He should not be sitting on the bench at any point. Kevin Cash, all right? You hear me? No more Brandon Lau on the bench ever, okay? So that's all I got on that. Yeah, I think we should move on, unless you guys have any tidbits you want to talk about for the Diamondback series.
I mean, what a game on Friday.
Yeah?
T-Pain concert was phenomenal.
Mm.
I'm wearing the Flappy hoodie they gave us away 2 weeks ago. This Friday, though, they give away this cool little Sherpa Devil Rays bucket hat. So if you're unfamiliar with the Rays, they have cool giveaways
I
I'm wearing.
got my
Dave Wills.
Dave
my
Wills.
Dave Wills one.
That might be
Rest
the
in
best
peace.
giveaway ever.
It is very
I
nice shirt.
had to get this one.
Yeah, it's good.
Dude, they're selling this thing for $120 a pop on eBay.
It's a good one, too.
But I'm never taking it off. I haven't since.
He hasn't.
I've worn it every single day. I've worn it to work. I got sent home a couple times, but it's okay. And then T-Pain was there,
Electric.
and I had not seen a concert at the Rays Stadium. I know they've had a couple little summer concert series,
Jimmy Eat World.
and you were saying that one was not as good.
Sound quality was very
Sound quality
bad.
was bad. This one, awesome, and just the visuals, like the visual of seeing the catwalk behind T-Pain with the American flag, and he's wearing a navy blue Rays jersey, yelling Rays up. I mean, I had chills. I had chills seeing that. That was the coolest thing. And great, like, I mean, the crowd was there. There was almost a sell. There was like 21,000 there on Friday night. And I would say about 90% of people stayed. No exaggeration.
Wow.
The floor was filled up. You could get little floor tickets. A bunch of people were out there going crazy. It was awesome. So shout out to all the Rays fans that show up. It doesn't, like, it could be this way. It could be this way all the time. Just need to keep rooting for the Rays. Need to just start showing up because they can do more stuff like that and have more fun things, more giveaways. But shout out to the Rays fans who stayed. I am almost willing to bet. This is the one thing. I'm almost willing to bet when T-Pain started singing Apple Bottom Jeans, the crowd might have been louder than the walk-off.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. I mean, that's a banger, man. That's timeless. That is a timeless song.
So yeah,
So
there is that. I mean, it got loud in there.
Shout out. Trap's been loud recently, gotta say.
Yeah, because Zach Eflin's full of dog water, and he just makes stuff up. And the Rays can get loud, the fans can get loud in there. The dome, obviously the sound. Mm-hmm. This is physics. Goes up on the circular roof, right down.
Thanks for the lesson.
It's like the Seahawks Stadium.
Yes, kind of.
Same physics.
Yeah, because it's
basically it's a dome, and they have like a half dome. They just have this open
it's
in
a
the
half
middle,
dome,
but it still works the same.
Also, Rays fans aren't going to have much to cheer for in Tropicana Field because the Rays are going on a huge 10-game West Coast trip all the way across the country. And it starts tonight. We are recording on Monday, and the Rays are playing later. So it's late night with the Rays a lot. So Rays fans, if you have early work days, too bad. Gotta go watch the Rays late, or maybe don't, and you can watch the highlights. Whatever you have to do.
Stay up with the Rays.
Stay up. Late night with the Rays is electric. There's not much better. I love it, but I stay up regardless. Anyways, Rays have 4 games against the Athletics. They are at 9:40 for 3 of them, and then 3:37 for 1 of them. The Rays will have Taj Bradley tonight pitching. They will have let me see Shane Baz on Tuesday. Then they will have Ryan Pepio on Thursday. And then I think that makes Jeffrey Springs on Ryan Pepio is on Wednesday. I'm sorry. Jeffrey Springs is on Thursday. 4 games. Rays have the pitching lined up, looking to build off a huge series win against a huge sweep against the Diamondbacks, looking to at least get a series win. Not a split, a win against the Athletics. And then on the weekend, the Rays go over to Dodger Stadium for a 10-10 game on Friday night, a 9-10 game on Saturday night, and a 4-10 game on Sunday. The pitchers we'll have a little bit of a Drew Rasmussen, Tyler Alexander day on Friday, I reckon, against Bobby Miller. Tyler Gosnell was hurt, so we won't see him. I thought we might see him. Taj Bradley versus Clayton Kershaw.
I'm excited for that
on Saturday. The Rays are going to be like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? To Clayton Kershaw. And then on Sunday, Shane Baz versus Gavin Stone. A lot of good pitching matchups this week. Rays have 7 games all on the road on the West Coast. Boys, I guess first, this is a really big trip. So 10 games. What do the Rays have to do? What record do they have to pull out for you guys to feel good and confident for playoff chances and just their baseball level after this trip?
I mean, I think 6-4 at the minimum. At the minimum we're talking about here. I think you look at the A's, for sure that has to be a winnable series. I think splitting that would be disappointing, would be an understatement for that if you split that series. Dodgers, don't get swept. And then the Padres, man, I really think Mariners. Yeah, Padres are home.
Yes.
Mariners, I think, again, you could take 2 out of 1 or even sweep that series. So I'm saying the floor, 6-4, the ceiling,
10-0,
8-2. Maybe if you could sweep the A's and the Mariners, I know that's probably not going to happen, and lose to the Dodgers. That'd be the perfect world.
You could win 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. The Dodgers are not playing that good of baseball. Freddie Freeman's had a litter of personal stuff, and I think he just got injured, so don't know what his status is going to be. Ohtani and Betts are obviously amazing. Will Smith's good, but the rest of that lineup has been good lineup. But the Rays with the pitching, it's on the road, Dodger Stadium. You could win that series. I really do think so. I don't know if I would pick the Rays to win that series, but I think you definitely could. They've won tougher series. I mean, they just won a series 2 out of 3 against the Astros on the road, who are a hotter team than the Dodgers at this point. So definitely I'm not going to rule out a series win in that one. I think I'll say I think the Rays, I think you got to go 7-3 on this trip. I think if you're going to win baseball games, you might as well make the playoffs. And I think you need to go 7-3 for a good shot to go to the playoffs. And I don't know, Joel.
Yeah, that was my thought. 7-3 or bust.
Yeah, and I do think it's possible.
There's no shame in busting.
But I mean, you just gotta have one sweep in that mix. You either have to be able to sweep the Athletics or the Mariners. But if you sweep the Mariners, or I mean, 7-3 is 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3, and 2 out of 3. That's 7-3, and that's possible. The Rays have won a lot of series recently, so who knows?
Sweeping Randy and the Mariners would be
sweet.
Eating chocolate cake.
It would be. It would be really, really good.
Striking them out a bunch is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And then I won't sound so crazy after what I said about them, but it's neither here nor there.
But anyways, I think we got 7 games, so we can predict 7. We just predicted the trip. What's our predictions for the road trip?
For the road trip,
Yeah.
you know what? I think sometimes you gotta be hard on them because they listen to the show and it fires them up when you're hard on them. I'm gonna say 6-4, because I'm praying they could at least get that, and maybe they'll get fired up and say, "We'll do you one better." I said 2-1. I believed in them this weekend. I said I believe, but I said y'all ain't gonna sweep, and they're like, "Hey, Will, watch this. We're gonna sweep them." So I'm gonna say 6-4. Prove me wrong, Rays. Let's see 7-3, 8-2. Perfect world, utopian world, 10-0.
That would be awesome.
But let's see it. Who's hitting the home run is your next question, I assume. Who's hitting the home run for me? Give me Dylan Carlson, baby. He's hitting another dong. I'm hoping it's at Dodger Stadium.
Ooh, that'd be
I'm hoping
awesome
to see some home runs fly there. There's nothing better than hitting the home run in Dodger Stadium. Also, last time we're seeing the Rays in the Coliseum.
I know. A little sad, man.
And
sad.
I never got to see it, but also it's like, it's kind of a dump, man. So it's
I
like,
wanted to see it. I wanted to pee in the trough.
I want to stand there like Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Like,
All good things, guys.
You know he died, dude. He died.
Did we
Not
talk?
Brad
We talked.
Pitt,
Did we
just
talk
to be
about
clear.
that?
We talked
Not
about
Brad
Billy
Pitt.
Bean.
I mean, you scared me there for a
Not
second.
Brad Pitt.
I'm like,
Billy
Billy
Bean
Bean,
died.
who
That's
cares?
just sad. I can't
Brad
get over
Pitt
that.
is too hot to die, man.
He'll live forever.
I'm saying it's 7-3 on the trip. I'm gonna back my Rays, and also Junior Caminero is getting his first home run of the season on this trip.
That would be
He might
very
hit
nice.
2, one in Dodger Stadium and one in Seattle in the Mariners Park, and he's gonna do something to Randy, like a little celebration. Probably not, but he is gonna hit a home run.
All right, I'll be the negative Nancy. I'm gonna go 5-5, and Johnny DeLuca is getting me home.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you'd like to see. Does Pepe play against the Dodgers? No.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he misses them by a game. That does stink. He'll be able to see his old fellas. Johnny
Yeah, but
DeLuca, a revenge game home run.
That would
in
be
Dodger
cool.
Stadium.
That's why it's like Joel's saying that made me
Give
think
me
about
Johnny.
it, but it would be kind of cool. Maybe switch out the days. You just love when teams are fired up. They have something to prove. When players are fired up, they have something to prove against their old team. So you'd like to see that. But I think it's time. I've just been handed some news that it's time to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby. I think that's what we're all most excited about right now because the season has just begun. We still got a couple preseason games to go, but we are right in the swing of it. Players are fighting for roster spots. Some guys are trying to become starters, and the Bucs had another opportunity to show their talent on Saturday night in Jacksonville, our sister city. Jacksonville. We have no hate towards them, really. I kind of like him. Trevor Lawrence, he's kind of cool. I rooted for him at Clemson. But you know what? This weekend they were our enemies, and I hated them. I wanted the Bucs to win. And we talked about last week, if you were not able to listen, the Bucs had a couple joint practices with them, and it did not go very well. But that's just practice, right? It all matters what happens in those 60 minutes when toe hits leather, as Gene Deckerhoff would say. Fire the cannons, let's go Buccaneers. Where are you? Mike Evans. But it all came down to this. 7:30 start on the CW. The Buccaneers. No starters again, except for a couple maybe fringe guys. We did not see Baker. We did not see Mike, Chris, Vita Vea, Levante David. We didn't see any of those cats. So what were the Bucs going to do? Well, they get the ball first. They go 5 plays, 16 yards, but they're unable to get a first down. A couple good runs, though, by Bucky Irving on this drive, and they would give it to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mac Jones, he's been kind of lights out for the Jags since being let go by the New England Patriots. Kind of been having some bust allegations thrown towards his way, but he might have found a home as a backup in Jacksonville. Some people are calling for him to be the starter because Trevor Lawrence has been a little inconsistent, but we'll see. Anyways, he gets...
Who's calling for him to be the starter?
Dude, people were... I don't know, the Jags, a lot of expectations last year. They go 9-8. Trevor Lawrence didn't really look that good.
Jags fans. You can get back to your thing, but that's just dumb.
Hey, there's a lot of people saying he might be a bust.
Jags fans don't know ball like Bucs fans do.
He might be a bust. Maybe that playoff game was a fluke.
I was at that playoff game, Electric Factory.
Maybe it was a fluke, man.
Maybe it was because I was there.
But anyways... Mac Jones, he gets a kind of a big drive going. Bucs are unable to stop them. They go 10 plays, 42 yards, but they were able to get a final stop on 3rd and 7 at their own 47-yard line. Jacksonville will have to punt. The Bucs get the ball back. They go 7 plays, 34 yards down the field, and they are unable to convert. They punt it right back, and then the Jags, a huge drive, 17 plays, 80 yards, eats up 10 minutes of clock. Bucs, let's see here. They had a 3rd and 9 that they were unable to stop, a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 17, and a 4th and 1 with another 3rd and 17. And that's when Mac Jones finds his receiver wide open for a 25-yard touchdown. The Jags go up 7-0. But Kyle Trask, man, he wants to be quarterback number 2. He wants to be the starting quarterback in waiting after Baker Mayfield's time is done. He gets a beautiful drive of his own, 9 plays, 68 yards down the field, and they tie it up as he passes it to Cody Thompson for a 6-yard touchdown. It's 7-7. No action for the rest of the half. The Jags do get a nice little 35-second drive going, 7 plays, 49 yards, and they're able to get a field goal, so it's 10-7.5. Jags open up in the second half, and they are able to get another field goal, so it's 13-7. Then we see punt after punt. Bucs offense with John Walford, who comes in for the second half, is not looking good, but the Bucs defense is coming to play, forces a couple 3-and-outs, and eventually forces a fumble. That would be from is it Austin Hayes or Anthony Hayes? I can't think. Anyways, Hayes, the cornerback, he forces a fumble. The Jags.
I think it's Austin.
Austin Hayes, yeah.
A guy named TBR Wisdom.
That wasn't who forced the fumble. But anyways, Bucs get the ball on the Jags' 45-yard line, but we're unable to really get a drive going. They get 21 yards, but have to settle for 3. And Chase McLaughlin, are you kidding me? Misses another field goal, so still 13-7. After that, the Jags get another touchdown. It's 20-7, and that would be all she wrote. The Bucs lose this game 20-7, and in not a very good fashion. I know it's a preseason, and we'll get into it right now, but Colby, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Well, I don't think that this was the best preseason game to buy stock into. I think when you have these teams doing these joint practices and doing these scrimmages, those kind of end up being your quote-unquote preseason games. I think the practices are where the teams kind of went full out and the coaches, used the players, and that's probably where the coaches got most of their information, not from this preseason game. So I'm not going to buy too much stock in this game, but there's obviously some ups and some downs. I think we could probably start bad, and I think what really stuck out to me the most was, first off, obviously, these aren't your starters, but the Jaguars were 9 for 17 on third down. I think one or two at least, fourth down conversions as well. So that's frustrating. Like Will said, that big touchdown that drive they had in the first half, and that's against some of the people that will be playing in the games, whether it's in backup minutes or thrust in the starter minutes. We don't know. But they had a few third down conversions, a couple third and long conversions on that drive. That's frustrating, and I think that comes down to the secondary in this situation. I thought the secondary was pretty good week 1 against the Bengals, but I did not really like what I saw from the secondary at all this week.
No, I did not like what I saw from the secondary. I think that's the biggest red flag because, look, again, the good thing is, guys, if you're listening at home, we're not talking about your starters. We're not talking about Jamel Dean. We're not talking about Zion McCollum or Christian Eisen. I don't even think Eisen played. If he did, not that long. We're not talking about your main guys, but we are talking about your backups, guys who will need to come in if something were to go wrong. And my biggest fear is that we do not have the depth. We simply do not. So many missed assignments, so many Jags wide receivers just left wide open, especially on key downs. Really, that 10-minute drive was the most frustrating because when you are at 3rd and 17, 3rd and 15, that should be almost an automatic stop. I know miracles happen, but twice in one series is unacceptable. Through and through, unacceptable. You cannot let that happen. And then especially to give up a touchdown when you guys look like you don't know what's going on back there. So that is a red flag. I think one good thing, though, I did see from the secondary is Bryce Hall. I thought he played very well. I think that penalty was outrageous. Mr. Ref over here likes to disagree, but I think, come on, I've seen way worse that hasn't been called, and that gets called, and he comes up with an interception. I think the refs should have picked up that flag. We're not even throwing it all together, but I thought he played solid. Outside of that, though, not seeing a lot of names, wasn't really happy with it. Merriweather got hurt too, didn't he?
Yes.
That was a big blow because
he walked off on his own power. I haven't seen any news on
I
him.
have not seen any news, but it is a knee injury, so you always kind of get a little scared seeing that K word there.
Mm-hmm.
Knee injuries are nothing to mess around with, and I thought he played phenomenal last week and is kind of earning a spot there. So it's sad to see him go down, but secondary as a whole. Don't really have a whole lot to say on Tyke Smith. Didn't really see him make any big plays.
I feel like it's rookie moment. He made had a couple of pressures, maybe missed some things. But I will say for the secondary, a thing that is a little encouraging is this is a full second unit of secondary players. So while if the whole secondary gets hurt, then we might be in trouble. But I think any team would be in trouble if 3 out of their 4 secondary guys gets hurt. But if one of these guys have to slide in for someone for a week, for Jamel Dean or Zion McCollum, it will be better communication-wise, because I think it was the worst part, was a lot of busted coverages, assignments, stuff like that. So with a couple of leaders and more experienced players on the field, I do think these guys are still serviceable. A guy like Bryce Hall, Christian Eisen, I don't know exactly what role he's going to play. Tyke Smith, I think those guys are all still serviceable, and I wouldn't feel terrible about them obviously stepping into a Dean's role or a McCollum's role, or even obviously Antoine Winfield might be the best player on the team, so you feel a little worse about that, but even a Whitehead's role, stuff like that, I don't think I'm not going to fully throw up the red flags, but this isn't the deepest position group on the Bucs for sure. But yeah, Tyke Smith was all right. Didn't really hear the name Keenan Isaac much. Definitely just not a good game for the secondary.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. I would say I'm a little more concerned with you because there's still question marks with Zion McCollum. We haven't seen him in a game so far.
The fact that we haven't seen him almost helps me, though, because it's like I think if it was a fringe thing or if it was something that we weren't sure that he had made that jump, he would have played in one of these preseason games. And maybe I'm reaching, I don't know.
I just think, again, seeing like he was definitely involved in getting whooped by the Jags offense in the joint practices. I did see his name get brought up a bunch there. So it's like I still like I agree with you. Yeah, it's kind of a good sign. Like they're not playing him, so it must mean he's kind of really earned that other corner role. But we still haven't seen it in a game. We haven't seen it in a game. So I get concerned because I think if he's not the guy, if something happens, you look at Bryce Hall. But other than that, man, like somebody's gonna have to step up, and they're gonna have to step up quick. Especially like, and then same with Jamel. Like we apparently need him big time. Like he can't go down.
Yeah.
I know it was kind of him and Carlton Davis going back and forth on like last year, like who's gonna go down or who's gonna play bad. They're taking turns or something like that. But this year we cannot afford Jamel Dean to go down. In my opinion, I'm very concerned actually.
For sure. Yeah, it's definitely depth is an issue, and there's no denying that. I'm surprised their Bucs didn't do corner, but their picks have seemed pretty good so far. But as we stick on the bad before we get to the good, I got to point to our kicking specialist Joel, because Joel, what's your level of concern for Chase McLaughlin right now?
It is concerning. Like back-to-back games with missed field goals. I gotta trust him though. I just gotta stick with him. I gotta stick with him through the highs and lows right now. I gotta see maybe the first quarter of the season, see how it's going, and then from there I will either resume my confidence or I will wave the white flag. But preseason, I'm gonna choose to be positive on this one. But it is very scary.
Well, I'm a little concerned
because I was trying to see and look into the special teams throughout the whole night, see how it was. So, I mean, the missed field goal is definitely the highlight of the lows for the special teams.
Well, I say too. I mean, special teams as a whole has not been good. I'd say Jake Camarda hasn't had the best punts. There was one where he had like 57 yards to work with, and he just boots it right in the back of the end zone. I'd say returns have not been very good. I'm a little concerned with Trey Palmer. I thought he mishandled.
Sean Tucker had a good return.
He had a good return, but Trey Palmer, who's supposed to be the guy, I thought, I was very disappointed in how he was returning. I thought he made a lot of bad decisions, especially in Jacksonville returning punts. So special teams as a whole has not looked good. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, like, we were talking about this off air. I think it's one of those things with punters and kickers. They just get a little too complacent. You know, they're soft. They don't really do the same type of stuff that the other team's going through. And it's not. I mean, it's still competitive. It's the NFL, but you're not always as worried about losing your spot as probably 100 other positions are. And I think it's always good. If I were a coach in the NFL, I'd always bring in a kicker to at least compete, or a punter to at least compete, because I think it makes those guys play better. This is kind of the first year in a while with the Bucs where like they really came in with these are our two guys. We're not bringing anybody else. Last year you had the battle between McLaughlin and Blankenship. Camarda was a rookie, unproven, had to make the team, and so on. So this year, you know, they're kind of a little complacent. So I think maybe Todd Bowles brings somebody in, shakes up a little bit, gets them on the edge.
A lot of this, too, comes with just the lack of pressure from the preseason, right? Like, I feel like it's that in-game pressure where there's all these people screaming at you, and you know, like, the game matters, where there's a little bit more complacency coming in.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to see him just become the Chase McLaughlin of last year when the season starts. I know kicking is a lot of a mental game, so maybe he's not fully locked in like he normally is when he's kicking during the preseason. Or you go back to a really crucial missed field goal by McLaughlin in the playoffs, and maybe that's still weighing on him. I know kickers have a crazy mental game. They get the yips, stuff like that. But I'm not writing him off yet, but I would love to not have to deal with a sketchy Bucs kicker, because that was 2010s was a tough year tough decade to deal with Bucs kicking, man.
Come on, you didn't like Matt Gay? Was that
I hate Matt Gay.
He's so bad. Well, he's so bad that he got good after the Bucs.
Is he with the Rams nowadays?
Yeah, he's with the Rams, and he got a Super Bowl ring, and it makes me furious.
Yeah,
because you cost Jameis's job. I'm serious. The Bucs go, 9-7. Maybe they get in the playoffs if he doesn't miss a kick against the Giants.
Yeah, but we might
Yeah,
would have not gotten
everybody
Tom
has Super
Brady.
Bowl rings because of Matt Gay.
So
I'm
Los
sorry,
Angeles has one. Tampa Bay has one.
I love
Everybody
Jameis
wins.
Winston, man.
I love Jameis Winston too.
I just think that
Some people have a patio
what a
wag, but they
game
don't
he
have a
played.
dog.
What a game he played, man. And Matt Gay, you blew it. You blew it. He's on my bounty list. He's on the bounty list. Somebody cheap shot him. I will not care. I will send you a TB3 gift box. I guess we'll stick on defense. I mean, I think the biggest improvement we saw by far throughout the entire team was the pass rush, man. I thought we didn't see it enough. The Bucs didn't even get a sack last week against the Bengals, and then they record 5 on Saturday, 3 of which by the Cleveland Guardians.
Down goes Anderson.
Jose Ramirez, Eastern Michigan outside linebacker. He was the 7th round pick, I want to say, last year in the draft for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he got hurt. And then, the Bucs were pretty deep at that outside linebacker position. Shaq Barrett, JTS, Yaya Diaby was kind of like the big guy where everybody's like, this guy's awesome, leading the team with sacks. So you kind of forgot about him. I sure as heck did. I didn't know if this guy was even going to be on the team at this point, but he was able to prove himself and have a monster game. And I think he 100% deserves some playing time. 100%. He should be in the rotation. Bring him in because I know one of the sacks was Mac Jones fell down like 1,000 times in that game. I don't know if you guys noticed. Just kept slipping and falling. He was probably drunk or something. But Jose Ramirez gets 3 sacks. I felt like the pressure was always there, and it was a lot of him leading the way. But I do have trivia. For you guys before we get into it.
Before you do that, Matt Gay is now an Indianapolis Colt.
Wow.
Yeah, he was been there since last year. My last note on special teams is your special teams specialist.
All
okay.
right.
So,
Trivia,
anyways, trivia. Jose Ramirez, first Buccaneer to have 3 sacks in a preseason game since they've kept track of preseason stats like they do now. He is the second Buccaneers player to have 2 or more in a preseason game. Can you tell me who that player was? It's not like it's like a random guy who just had. He's been a big starter for the Bucs.
I'll say Shaq Barrett.
No, not that big.
Oh.
He has an awesome nickname.
Oh.
Awesome nickname.
Is it Anthony Nelson?
Mm-mm.
Man. Joel, you got anything?
Nothing.
Akeem Nunez Roches.
Oh, okay.
Nacho.
Okay.
In
Nacho.
2019, he had 2 sacks in a
All
preseason
right.
game. So there's that. Bad news about the pass rush. Didn't really see Chris Braswell. We've been kind of harping on him. Need him to step up. Did not really see him at all. So that's a little disappointing. I feel like he's pretty good in the run game, but as far as pass rush, non-existent when he was in. Non-existent. And this is one guy we've been really getting on his case. He needs to step up. We need somebody to help out Yaya Diaby when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And it really needs to be him. But maybe this is Jose Ramirez's time to shine. And that was a good thing to see him step up, have a huge game. So shout out you, Jose. You are my Buccaneers player of the week.
Yeah, mine too. I think that it'll be a panel wide. Jose Ramirez is great. Love to see it. 5 sacks from the defense, 6 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 9 quarterback hits. Definitely an explosive day for the defense. Like we said, secondary struggled, but the front 7 was really good. The Jaguars didn't run for much of anything. Another good day, just while we're on the goods. Another good day for the running game. I think
Can
I
we switch
saw.
into the offense?
Yeah,
Can we go grades real quick?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. So, as for defense, top 10.
It's kind of ones that stuck out to you.
Yeah,
You can
just
go through.
honestly, like Keenan Isaac at a 75.6, another really good game for him. Not a lot of strong grades. Top 10 being, people in the top 10 being in the 60s is not a great look. Golston, another solid day. Defensive line, Ukwak. was number one.
He killed C.J. Beathard. C.J. Beathard
Yeah, he
is
did,
dead.
he did.
Resting, pepperoni. Sorry for your loss, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Huge sack. Great game.
And then, you look at, bottom 10, Chris Braswell at the Chris Braswell, right? Yeah, I was like tweaking for a second. Chris Braswell with a 30.3 grade, just not great,
And this is 0 to 100, guys. This is a school grade.
And then KJ Britt and JJ Russell both being in the 50s. That's pretty surprising to me. KJ, I don't know. It's PFF. I'm not going to read too much into the grades. And then, going to offense, nothing really sticking out. Kyle Trask in the top 10. Ryan Miller, another good day.
We can get to it if you want to jump right into the offense because I think, me personally, Kyle Trask, I know there was some talk, this and that, about who's, there is some rumblings. John Wolford could take that spot. Nope, it's Kyle Trask.
He looked good.
He looked good, and I think what was very telling is when Wolford went out, Kyle Trask had to go back in. I know the Bucs didn't really get any points, but that offense ran way more smoothly than it did with Wolford. He looked a little too jittery, wasn't able to make a whole lot of plays. I think, Trask is your number 2 guy, and I actually feel a lot more confident. He was sitting out the entirety of the second half, comes in and marches the Bucs right down the field. He can be cold, but he goes in there and does his job. So I grew a lot more faith in Kyle Trask than I did previously.
Yeah, and then 76 yards rushing, 4.8 yards per carry from the Bucs. Another really good day for Liam Cohen's rushing attack. I thought the offense definitely stalled. Their third down conversion was not good, but I definitely think the ball movement, especially under Kyle Trask, was pretty good, pretty encouraging. So I feel like it's same old, same old. I don't think we need to really.
Yeah, I just think I think what I've noticed so much this preseason. And I know, as we go more into this 3-game preseason as opposed to 4, and eventually we're probably going to get to 2, you're seeing less and less and less of what a team's offense actually is because they don't want to show anything. And so I think, at some point, I think the Bucs just kind of
reined it in.
They went to the well too many times with certain looks, certain run schemes that I just think the Jags sought too many times, and that's okay. You don't want to show all your cards in a preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You simply don't. But I'd say like that's what I'm assuming. But because I just think that it got a little too repetitive.
It got stagnant. Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely in the second half. I don't think they were showing much of anything. I mean, you've seen this team probably 3-4 scrimmages this week, including the preseason game. Probably 3 games with this team. So it's just a lot of same old, same old. It's hard to, have success on the same defense with the same looks over and over again. I will say offense looked a lot better when Graham Barton was in there to start the game. Massive holes, and now it comes out today that he's going to be your starting center. Not really surprising, but when we first saw the depth chart, he wasn't the starting center. But just some respect for Robert Hainsey, who's obviously doing a good job mentoring. I think they've all everyone's kind of noted how he's been a good leader for Graham Barton, and he can add to the O-line depth. So, love to see Graham Barton winning that starting job. That's about it I got on offense, man.
Bredesen played pretty good, too.
Yeah, Brederson. Yes. I saw him, and I was trying to look out for him. But, I mean, all those guys who played early, the running game looked really good early with Bucky Irvin.
Huge holes.
Yeah, huge holes.
Like, the first play of the game, I was like, wow, I've never seen that in,
seriously.
like, 3 years.
Yeah.
But,
do we move on Bucs Dolphins?
Yeah, I think we get to the Bucs and the Dolphins. This is going to be on Friday night, so don't assume it's Saturday. This is a Friday night game on the CW, which, again, is so weird to me.
It was on NBC last week.
No, it was not?
It was on NBC last week.
Dude, okay. Are you sure about that?
Positive.
Yeah, because the week before that, it was on the CW.
Okay, so guys, Bucs, get it together. It's either NBC or CW. You got to...
Let's just be glad it's being televised.
Well, it should be televised anyway, but just keep it to one channel because it's been 8 my entire life, and then they threw out the CW, and it altered the course of my whole week. Like nothing was the same. Like my whole schedule's off. So I guess now it's on.
I don't know. We'll see.
Look,
it might be. It doesn't say. It doesn't say.
Well, we don't know. It's one of the two, and it is on 7:30.
I don't
have my phone on me.
7:30 Friday.
7:30, and it is in Tampa Bay. What are the tickets looking like? I know they say it on there. The cheapest ticket right now.
$13.
hey, $13, go see some preseason because the starters are playing. That's right. It has been confirmed that you will see a lot of the starters get some reps for who knows how long. I say probably if it goes well, maybe only a series. If it doesn't, maybe we'll see them longer, or maybe they just, maybe it'll be 2 or 3. Who knows? Whatever they do, it should be an interesting matchup. Let's see how the Bucs defense can play against the Miami Dolphins offense. Defense is here or there, I'd say, for the Dolphins, but their offense, Mike McDaniel, he's an offensive wizard. You're going to see a lot of motions. You're going to see a lot of guys coming out of the backfield. Can the Bucs lock it down? Can they show that they can cover in the secondary? Because I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Miami's going to be passing the ball a lot and a lot of stuff out of the backfield. So look for the linebackers to make some plays. J.J. Russell, K.J. Brady, whoever's in there, make some plays. Maybe
Levante David for a series. He'll play a series. I think everyone will play in this game for sure. And then, defensively, can you get a little bit of pressure on Tua? He is a completely different quarterback with any type of pressure on him.
100%.
Yeah, so that's important for just schematically. Obviously, it's a preseason game. Those points don't really matter. I will say offensively, I'm really looking to see, is this Liam Cohen offense, a backup merchant, or is this run game going to continue to work with first stringers in for both teams? You know what I'm saying? So I would like to see some holes for Rashad White, for Chase Edmonds if he's in there, for Bucky Irving, maybe with some first stringers. Would like to see it continue. I'm excited to see it. And then, is how different is this Bucs secondary going to look with their starters in? I think I feel pretty good about the starters. Obviously not as good about the depth, but I do think it's going to be a whole different look with Dean and Winfield and Whitehead out there. It's just going to be a completely different thing, man. Joel, anything you're looking forward to with these starters in?
Let's get some offense going. I want to see Baker bake something, like a good first drive touchdown. Let's get a touchdown on the drive with the starters.
I'm with it. Like a nice smooth opening drive would just make me so happy in this game. Yeah,
I think that's it.
Yeah.
This won't be the last you hear of us this week.
Yeah, if you're watching this maybe later on in the week, we're going to have multiple episodes coming out. So our one thing we want to hear from the Bucs before we end, I want to see the rush game continue with the first stringers. Wow, tongue twister. You said?
I want to see the secondary show they can cover.
Yeah?
Preferably, again, I want to see some good linebacker play as well.
And Joel said an opening touchdown drive.
With the starters in the game.
Yes. And then, comment down below what you want to see in this Bucs preseason game. Comment down below also your prediction for the Rays West Coast trip. You might already have one game in, so don't cheat. Or maybe cheat. It's fine. We'll let you have it, YouTube comments. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all that good stuff. And follow us on Spotify 5-star. And yes, if you're listening later on the week, we're going to have some college football content out because the Florida State Seminoles play this week and college football is right around the corner. So if you are listening and you see that college football episode, click on it. Listen to us talk about some college football as we get passionate because we love it. Go Gators, baby. Go Noles, no. Go Bulls, though. Go Bulls, baby. So make sure you guys do all of that. Thank you guys for watching and have a beautiful and blessed night.